Encuentra el amor que buscabas, encuéntralo primero el amor dentro de ti. Búscalo dentro de ti. Al aprender a descansar en ese lugar tan hermoso que es nuestro ser, verás el amor verdadero y el hogar verdadero, porque dentro de ti está todo lo que necesitas. Nadie puede darte lo que está dentro de ti, solo tú. Bendecido día.
Can you get it up? Come here, rude boy, is you big enough? Take it, yeah, baby, yeah, take it, yeah. Come here, rude boy. Come here, rude boy. Come here, rude boy.
Welcome back, our live stream and podcast Viva YG Latino. You know, we are in the March, one of the women in Viva YG Latino, and we have a round table with a different women in our community. In this program is Alejandra Diaz. She's a mortgage broker. MariLuz Ingbrigtson is a coach, a professional. And Carolina Vallejo, she's an entrepreneur and director of the magazine. And also we have a new guest in Viva YG Latino. She's Tanya Fir, is Parliamentary Secretary for Status of Women and member of the Legislative Assembly of Alberta for Calgary. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you.
Okay, we are happy to invite all these women for the Latino community, and you know, you have the microphones. And thank you, Tanya, for taking the time to participate with the Latino community.
Thank you for having me. I was just thinking, I feel like I'm on a call with a bunch of supermodels. Beautiful women, handsome man. I probably should have put us on some lipstick or something. You guys are gorgeous.
Yeah, but not tell that too much to Giuseppe because he's inflamed.
MariLuz, you start.
Oh, now I get in punishment. You see that? That's okay. My question for you is, what is the government do to help a lot of our community in mental health? And how you guys coming along with that? Because mental health is having a very interesting topic, and lately is having very described topic. Not many people want to talk about mental health. Not many people want to talk about stress and overwhelming and how they overwhelm with so much load. In our community, we come in here as an immigrant. I was an immigrant and I am an immigrant. Canadian citizen for 25 years, but I still feel like I'm an immigrant. And when I came here, my vision of coming to Canada was work, working 16 to 20 hours a day. Because of that, I got a stroke at the age of 26. And because I was very entrepreneurial-like, I always keep going. But I know a lot of people in our community are in the need for help in mental health, for help with other different programs to help them get better and understand where they are right now. Sometimes, and it is a lot of people in our community that would like it to go to school to get a better job, but they cannot get a better job because they have not been able to supply for their families, and for all the stuff they become stressed, and stress will take them to a different path in life. That's my question for you.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I hear you on the feeling that you have to just work. You know, I come from parents that were immigrants to Canada, and you know, there wasn't lots of talking and discussion in my family. My parents just worked, right? That lesson they taught me in life of work hard for what you want and provide for yourself and your family, which is a good lesson, but it can also sometimes go a little bit too far when you, as you point out, when it literally physically starts to affect your health, right? There's pride in hard work and providing for yourself and your family, but you have to balance that with looking after your physical health and your mental health. And you're right, it seems like in years past, there sometimes would seem to be a stigma or negativity attached with mental health. And what I'm pleased to see in the last few years is that the discussion and acknowledgement of mental health has become more open, and that it's say if you're struggling with mental health and you need some supports and you need some time, And I was pleased when our government, when we were elected in 2019, that we did establish a ministry of mental health and addictions to recognize it as a part of health, but so important that within health we had our own mental health ministry. And it's something that we continue to fund and support for adult programs in schools, keeping the conversation going, recognizing that healthy Albertans are productive and happy Albertans, and we want to encourage and continue the conversation and supports around that.
You bring something very interesting onto the table, because you said you're supporting the mental health in schools. Nowadays in Canada, as a statistic, out of 5 kids, 4 of them thinking has done it or tried to done suicidal. How are you helping them with that? How are you helping our school system to cope with that suicidal in our community of kids? Because kids, we are getting older. We're not older, we're getting older, but our kids is our future. How are you helping our kids to, in communities, in school, with suicidal?
Yeah, and those are quite alarming statistics, aren't they? When you hear that many people have thought about it or taken further action than that. I was really pleased to see that with the most recent budget that we introduced at the end of February, that we were giving record amounts of funding into both education and healthcare. Part of that would include mental health supports in schools and for children, to make sure that help is there when they need it. If someone has the courage, which is not easy, the courage to say that they're struggling with that and need help, we want to make sure the supports are there. So it's something that our government recognizes, and we want to continue to put resources towards.
Carolina.
Yes, hi.
Excellent. Hi, welcome.
Yeah, I'm having some technical difficulties, but yes, thank you so much, Tanya, for your time. And I was checking a little bit on your bio, and I noticed that your background is in the oil and gas industry. I personally have been working in the oil and gas industry for more than 20 years. So I personally know the challenges that women face in such a high competitive environment. So I would like to ask you, what do you think are the key factors that can make women successful in a male-dominated sector or environment?
Go ahead.
So thank you, Carolina. Good question. So yeah, prior to going into politics, I spent almost 20 years in the oil and gas industry in human resources. And I think it's important, first off, to the extent you can, to join an organization that is inclusive and has a good, healthy culture around welcoming everyone. And so to any extent that you can do background or research on that ahead of time, because sometimes you don't know until you're with the company, but to find a company that champions that type of culture and environment, and then within that organization, to find mentors and confidants that you can rely on to build your resilience and build your network. And for me, I found that was both women and men. Some of my greatest supporters and champions and people that would tell me, to toughen up or have some thick skin or would be the caring men in my life. And then some outstanding women role models that I've had both in oil and gas and in the political world. So it's building that resilience, building that supportive network. I was blessed that the company that I spent most of my career with was incredible, and I always felt supported. But I know that's not the case for all women in all jobs. So I think one of the biggest pieces of advice I would give them is to try to find that mentor and that support network to help you through.
Yeah, that's amazing, and it's actually I think it is both components. It is the logistics, like the salary gap is also one thing that can be like sometimes challenging, because I know that Canada is very supportive. Canada is very open to receive immigrants, people from different nationalities. But somehow I would like to see your perspective on that salary gap on women and men in corporate environments.
Yeah, so I think, I remember studying this even back in, way back 20 plus years ago when I was in university. I remember taking classes that talked precisely about that, about the salary gap. And I think one of the things that struck me, even from that long ago learning about it, was often just as women are entering their peak or building in their career, they're also entering that peak and wanting to start a family, right? So I think it's, and then you have women, predominantly still women, of course, women are mothers and the most nurturing, compassionate people in the world. Of course, when they take their maternity leave to raise their families, sometimes that can slow them down in terms of their work experience. So I think it's very important that companies recognize that when a woman takes time out from the workforce to raise family, which is the most important thing we need, is future generations of wonderful, hardworking Canadians to look after us when we're older, is that has to be recognized as it might have been time away from the office, but it's not time away from learning and growing and contributing, and making sure that when those women come back, that they're supported and rewarded and continue to be viewed as we just with their male counterparts in terms of promotions and opportunities to move up, so that they have those opportunities for those manager and executive roles, and that the salary, that's one way to tackle the salary gap problem, as I see it, is to make sure that we recognize that women who step away to raise their family, that's a good thing, and that has to be recognized and rewarded.
Yeah, exactly. It is a change of the mindset. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Alejandra.
Okay, hi Tanya again. Well, my question is more about entrepreneurship. We are immigrants. As women, we always want to work, or most of the women that I've been with lately, we just want to start a new business or do something. But I feel that there's no this women support to start a business. I know there's so many programs out there. I know they can be kind of supporting groups or whatever, but I would like to know what is your perspective of how can we as women can be more, I don't know, how can the government can include some of the budget or some of the something else for encouraging the women to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and that's such a great question. I know, as we talked about, just last week was International Women's Day on the 8th, but of course there was activities all week, and I had an opportunity. One of the things I did was we, in partnership with the government of Saskatchewan, participated in we called it a Breaking Barriers Conference, which was an opportunity to bring in, whether it was business women or entrepreneurship, women that are entrepreneurs or women in academic fields, to come together and discuss just that. How can we better support and encourage women, and what sort of resources can the government provide? And I know some of the things that the government of Alberta does, whether it's starting with women when they're younger, encouraging them to pursue fields in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or continuing or encouraging them through great organizations like Junior Achievement, to be involved in business and entrepreneurship. But then also we offer other programs as a government, whether it's our Women's Hub, which is an online network of supports for business women and entrepreneurs, because women have the courage, the intelligence, the tenacity, the education to get the job done. We just have to sometimes make sure that those supports are available to them. And if we have time, I would love to hear what the three of you would offer our government as ideas and suggestions of what we could be doing better or differently, because I would love to hear what your guys' feedback on what we could be doing better, if time.
Let's make the time for that.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Do any of you have any initial? Sorry, I don't mean to take over the interview, but just whether it's in this or whether we talk separately, I'd love to hear the ideas you ladies have. So sorry, back over to you.
Excellent. That's the feedback.
Okay.
Okay.
Carolina, you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. I'm a pioneer. I like to go first. So yeah, I appreciate Alejandra's question because it is true. Most of us are pursuing a dream of being an entrepreneur and creating our own business, right? Not only for us, but something that can be a legacy for our kids. So I know that there are some founding options through some institutions locally here in Alberta, but I have seen that sometimes they are very limited in some capacity. So Alberta Women Entrepreneur, I think it is the regional one. But I would like to see what concrete efforts is the government trying to do, like foundings, grants, some things very tangible for us to be able to apply to get funding, because as you mentioned, Tanya, we have the knowledge. I'm sure that the three of us have amazing careers back home, and when we came to Canada, we have to reinvent ourselves and we have to build something from scratch. So we have the knowledge, we have the skills, but I think that the missing part is the funding. So specifically in the funding, what options we as a Latinas can we have available to start our own business?
And thank you. That is definitely something I can look into, so I can find out what if any options are there, and if there's not, what can we do about it. So that's good for me to know. Thank you.
For me,
also I will add into that as a new immigrant, because I found that it's harder if you are new here in Canada to start something like that. Like you have to have the famous Canadian experience in any work and anything, and also in the entrepreneur. So if you can add to all what Carolina said, to the new immigrants, because that's my situation.
For me, it will be more support for the immigrants. I believe the immigrants, we come in here and we get culture shock. We get sometimes very overwhelmed with so much, because even though Canada is a beautiful country, they're giving us so many things. I say it for experience. I have been here 25 years. I believe that when a new immigrant comes into Canada, they get the shock of the culture, they get the shock of the language, they get so many shocks, and sometimes they don't know where to go. Maybe an organization, they actually help us new immigrants to get to it, to get ready for Canada. But because that's the issue I have been seeing so much, the people are so overwhelmed. For example, somebody who want to take a course with me, they are so overwhelmed, but they don't have the means, and the government actually say no to them. And so, okay, where do you gotta go? Where I can send you that they can help you? Where I can send you that they can actually give you light, give you some incentive, something that you can start. Because a lot of us coming here with the big dream, okay, we gotta make it in Canada. And yes, we will make it, but not the first 2 years. The first 2 years are the harder for all of us. And that's when depression, anxiety, everything come into place. And I believe we are better than that as Canadians. We are better than that as a community. Even though some of us try to help each other, sometimes we don't have to help each other either. And it's really nice if the government actually have a nice organization, a nice set up organization just for new immigrants. Like somebody told me just today, well, I had not taken English because I don't know where to go. And every organization in Canada actually is in English speaking. I get this, we need to learn English to be able to work. But we need something in Spanish so people can feel they welcoming me to Canada in my own language. And I know I have to learn, but in my language. I can understand what she's telling me. I know gotta go to Catholic Social Service, everybody is speaking English, and I don't understand anything that they're saying to me. Did that make any sense? I know I'm a novelist.
No, that absolutely makes sense, is just to help with the transition. If you have people that are eager to come here and want to work and contribute and learn the language, they're not looking to live off the government, if I may speak candidly. They want to contribute and look after themselves and their families, but they need help with that transition and those services to help guide them. That absolutely makes sense. Absolutely.
Yes, and that I
I'm
think
just jotting notes.
I think in most of the new immigrants coming with that shock. Okay, I came to Canada, and now what? I am here, so what I do now? I lost. And so when you lost, you're not thinking clear. You don't know what to go, what to do, and then you get lost.
You only want to survive. And you don't have, like,
you only want to survive.
The horizon to see where to go, on what to do, or somebody to tell me that I can do it. That's, for example, I do mortgages, and I realized that most of our community is afraid of getting a house because they don't understand the mortgage, even though they speak English. So, as MariLuz is talking about, it's like, I think it will be like something good if there's like some Spanish speaker talking about our community for the newcomers to understand how to do your life in Canada, how they get involved in Canada, even though there's the Catholic service and the Mennonite and all of those. They need like more support when they arrive to Canada and know that they can do a life here. They can sometime get a mortgage, sometime get whatever, and sometimes get help in every situation they have in your life. Because most of the immigrants come alone. They don't have mothers, fathers, aunties, or family around. We are all alone, and what we need is somebody else to tell us that we can make it here in all of the aspects of our lives.
And also in our communities, when we come into here, we come in with no support, like she said. Back home, we have the support of all the family that we can have. So we have an aunt, we have an uncle, we can leave the kids here to go to work, to do this, to do that. Over here, we come and we don't even know how to deal with the daycare.
Yeah.
It's a simple, that's a simple thing. But the person doesn't know. So I would love to see the government to come up with something, not just only for the Spanish community, maybe for every community. Because, we are here coming to contribute to the country. And we bring our children to grow here and contribute one day. So why not get something that make it a process and that process a little bit smooth for the person to see the future in Canada? Because we have a lot of things to offer, but we need to show the future. Not just the overwhelming that right now the mom and dad is not here to help me with my children.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies.
And another thing, all the women with daycares, really, you can get some more grants with the daycares, because talking about the women in work and having and paying the daycare, it's really complicated.
Yeah.
I think
if I can add to that, the way I see it is just two ways. It's the logistics, meaning the schools and the job placement, and that educational part that MariLuz was talking about, like how to do your taxes, for example, how to opt for a mortgage, that kind of logistics steps, but also on the emotional side. As we were telling, we are alone here, most of us just with our partners and our kids. We don't have a support system. So it's like also the mental and the emotional state that is in
exactly.
that.
And that's what I say. When you don't find answers, you get frustrated, you get angry, you get overwhelmed, you get all those emotional feelings. There is no fair that we are in this country and somebody has to feel that, because we have organizations all over the place, but most of them are English speaking. And granted, but
okay, ladies. Time is flying.
Yes, but Jennifer.
I know. I'm the bad guy. I know all the time something. But it's the first, but not the last time we have Tanya here in this roundtable. Any message would you like to leave to our Viva YG Latino, Tanya, at our community?
Just thank you for your hard work and your enthusiasm and everything you bring. I mean, Canada is such an incredibly multicultural country, and it makes us stronger. And this type of feedback that you ladies have given me that I write down, it's important because it helps to realize, okay, where we as a government still have work to do, where there's further gaps and supports we need to fill in to make things even better. So I'm grateful for you all. I'm grateful for the feedback. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. Tanya, thank you. Alejandra, Mariluz, Carolina, and all the people see this interview. For sure, we have another interview with Tanya and all the Latino community women. Thank you so much, and see you until the next show. Take care.
Thank you.
Porque en la comunidad latina donde yo estaba conviviendo y desarrollándose, pues la familia en la que yo vivía se iban a mudar a Alberta.